Just as I dropped the book, we went live. Hi. How y'all doing out there? It's Reverend Michael McMorrow, the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California, where we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And I'm delighted that you're joining us here this evening for this time of meditation, where I will be sharing a little bit of Pema Chodron and from her book, Start Where You Are. And I'm working with this one until another book of hers, When Things Fall Apart, which is a very powerful book that I don't know why I feel like we should be looking into that book right now, but because right now things are actually okay. So I'm delighted that you're here. I'm delighted that I'm here because it gives me an opportunity to meditate as well. So if this is your first time, I just do a little guided thing. Then we meditate in silence, working with the breath for about 20 minutes. And then I do a little closing prayer at the end. And then we're out of here by 8 o'clock. So thank you for joining us. And so let's start. We have an opening ritual that we like to do here at all of our services here at the Center for Spiritual Living. And so let's just start by just taking a deep conscious breath. And just release the day. I know I've had a busy day, just releasing it all. Just feel the vibration of that release. And let's take another one. And sigh it out. All right. So as we come together for our call to service, which we call Lighting the Flames of Faith. And so behind me here are 11 candles. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. That fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So the first candle we light to honor the Tao, honoring that universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center, online, in our own hearts. And so behind me we have lit the healing candle. So let's just take a moment to remember those who have died from this virus, their families, anyone who's suffering any kind of health condition, that we raise them and know the healing light of the divine is available to them now. So please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love. So again, let's take a deep breath. One deep, holy, sacred breath, and just recognize and know with me that there is only one thing going on here. One power, one presence, one source, one life, one living intelligence. That essence of many names, the many paths up the mountain, and we are one with it. And so as we come together in common unity within this community, online community, to meditate together, I know that we are open and receptive to whatever the evening has to unfold. That we are open and receptive for however this meditation experience makes itself known this evening. That we are releasing any attachment to what it's supposed to look like, and that we are just open to what is. And so in this way, I'm knowing that we experience a sense of peace, of connectedness, of harmony, and serenity by means of this time of silence and contemplative meditation time. And so for this word and the word held within the hearts of anyone listening, just release it all now unto that aspect of the mind of the divine itself that knows only to say yes. So we release it, knowing it is done. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. So this book, Start Where You Are, I just wanted to read a few paragraphs. You know, we've been spending a lot of time at home, and even for those of us who are working at home, there is still a lot more space and far less distractions than our regular life, our pre-COVID life. There's no restaurants, no movies, no dating for those who are doing that, no gym, libraries. None of the distractions, the many ways that we engage in that distract us from whatever is going on deeper within us. So it's a great time to find time to do some meditation and to learn the difference between solitude and loneliness. Now, that ability to be able to sit with our own company without a sense of longing, and in fact even having a sense of knowing that all is well. This is a tremendous gift, and one that I found in establishing and maintaining a regular meditation practice. But you know, the mind, as Mr. Cuenca would say, is a very busy place. And so we sit down to sit in the silence, and all of a sudden we have all kinds of thoughts. And maybe we judge ourselves around this. So Pema Chodron, in this teaching that she calls Abandon Any Hope of Fruition, abandon any hope of fruition. She says one of the most powerful teachings of the Buddhist tradition is as long as you're wishing for things to change, they never will. As long as you're wanting yourself to get better, you won't. As long as you have an orientation towards the future, you can never just relax in what you already have and in what you already are. Boy, and isn't that true? One of the deepest habitual patterns that we have is to feel that now, right now, is not good enough. We think back to the past a lot, which maybe was better than now, or perhaps worse. We also think ahead quite a bit to the future, which we may fear, always holding out hope that it might be just a bit better than we are now, even if now is going really well. We have good health, and we've met the person of our dreams, or we just had a child, or we got the job we've always wanted, or we just got our stimulus check. Nevertheless, there's a deep tendency always to think about how it's going to be better later. We don't quite give ourselves full credit for who we are in the right now, in the present. For example, it's easy to hope that things will improve as a result of meditation, that we won't have such bad tempers anymore, or we won't have fear anymore, or people will like us more than they do now, or maybe none of these things are problems for us, but we feel we aren't spiritual enough. Surely we will connect with that awake, brilliant, sacred world that we are always going to find through meditation. In everything we read, whether it's philosophy or Dharma books or psychology, there's the implication that we're caught in some kind of very small perspective, and if we just did the right things, we begin to connect with a bigger world, a vaster world, different from the one we're in now. One reason, this is Pema speaking to this, one reason I wanted to talk about giving up all hope of fruition is because I've been meditating and giving Dharma talks for some time now, but I find that I still have a secret passion for what it's going to be like when, as they say in some of the classical texts, all the veils have been removed. Can anyone out there besides me relate to that? It's the same feeling of wanting to jump over yourself to find something that's more awake than the present situation, more alert than the present situation. Sometimes this occurs at a very mundane level. You want to be thinner, have less acne, have more hair, or all three. But somehow there's almost always a subtle or not so subtle sense of disappointment, a sense of things are not completely measuring up. So, this is a mental trap, of course. Right? That constant clinging or aversion to what is right now. And this really is one of the great gifts of the Buddhist teaching, the great gifts of meditation also. Because one of the Well, one of the things that happens when we meditate and when we sit to meditate is we begin to discover our thoughts. And some of our thoughts are not rainbows and unicorns. Some of our thoughts are not pleasant. And, we have to make friends with all of that in some way. And in a way that is neutral, so that we don't bite the hook and off we go again in some kind of fantastic scheme or fantasy, hooked on something that's happened in the past, or fantasizing in the future, but still instead to be here right now. So let's practice doing that. And I will stop talking, which would be good for both of us. I'm going to move this mic over to this side. I think it'll work a little better. All right, so let's just start by taking a deep conscious breath. And just let yourself wiggle around a little bit. Check your seat. And again, say this every week, where the idea is having a good, strong foundation. So one of the most stable structures in building is the triangle. So we think of ourselves in this way: strong base, erect spine, head balanced on the spine, but free of tension. All right. So let's just take a deep conscious breath. And Mike's starting up the Om and Bros for us. So with each exhale, we're allowing ourselves to settle and to drop just a little deeper. And so the practice is a relatively simple one. We're just simply following the movement of the breath, the sensation of the breath in the nostril. And as we focus our attention in this way, we see the mind begins to still. And even to calm. So at some point today, you may have had a mental tempest going on. There are certainly enough issues in the outer world to chew on, along with our own cares and concerns within our own circle of influence. But notice now, as you bring your attention to the breath, that the tempest calms, and instead there may be a thread of thought. This is a good start. So in this meditation technique, we use sensation to focus the mind even as we observe without judging the thought that arises. So we resist scratching that itch, and instead we can take a deep breath and breathe into it, and in that exhale, if we find we get hooked by a thought thread, and we can't have that moment of awareness, oh, I'm thinking. We can take a deep conscious breath and release and just reset and return to the breath again. So we're going to do a quick scan of the body, bringing our awareness to the bottom of our feet while focusing our attention on the breath. And so we just move up the legs, scanning, observing. Sometimes our knees can take on little torques, little twists, and just release that. Tension in the upper thigh. Bring our attention to our sit bones and then just rechecking our spine. Are we balanced above the sit bones? Is the head balanced on the neck? Following the breath. Allowing the tummy to rise and fall easily. If you feel tension in your lower back, you can release that by tucking your tailbone under a little bit. To the arms. Hands, the elbow, shoulders, following the breath in the nostril. So as you follow the breath in your nostril, see if you can detect the movement of your breath on the upper lip. You may feel a sensation as we go deeper into this. By focusing your attention on the breath and the upper lip, you may notice a tingling sensation above the eyebrows. or the crown of the head. Just observe that. So let's take a deep conscious breath again together. We're going to hold it at the top. Hold it. Release. So we move into the silence now for about 20 minutes. gently back into the room, staying with the breath. Rise and fall of the tummy, the rise and fall of the breath. So we'll work with this space now that we've created. And imagine with me then that at the heart center, there resides the eternal flame, a divine spark, the seed of the soul, a divine essence. And with this flame then, and with the breath, breathing in the light of the divine and fanning that flame. And releasing love. Breathing in light. Exhaling love. Breathing in life, exhaling love. So that this flame now has become a ball of light in our heart center, that with each in-breath, like blowing up a balloon, it expands just a wee bit more. Rising and falling, but growing in size and brilliance. This light that illumines rather than consumes, this divine fire within, expanding now beyond our torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom, that we actually feel our heart opening with each breath. We are now sitting in a field of light. That the very room that we are sitting in and occupying is infused with this light and love. Breathing in light, exhaling love. Breathing in light, exhaling love. And so we feel ourselves bathed in, absorbing and radiating this field of light and love. That we feel ourselves strengthening with not only the breath, but with the light and with love itself, as we know it is permeating every molecule, every cell, every fiber of our being. And that our heart is opening even more, that we've been broken open, so that we can bring now into this light and love, bringing those for whom we want to have an experience of healing. Breathing in light, exhaling love. So I bring my mother Kathleen into this light. Breathing in light, exhaling love. I bring in my beloved Stephanie. So call in your own beloveds. I call in our leaders as I breathe in light and exhale love. I breathe in our first responders of all stripes, from health to retail, those who care for us in health and those who care for us in our ordinary living. Breathing in light, exhaling love. For those suffering in any way, those whom we know, we breathe in light, exhale love. For those whom we do not know, those not only within the United States but globally, we breathe in light, exhale love. For anyone who's suffered by prejudice of any kind, of race, ethnicity, gender, or who they love, we breathe in light, exhale love. So in this space, and we know that we truly are one, that we're speaking from this heart space of knowing that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, one living intelligence, one infinite heart of the divine, expressing and impressing itself in, through, and as all of life, and in, through, and as all that we are. And so we are opening our heart and opening our mind to have an experience of this truth, an experience that resonates from this point forward, that we take it with us through the rest of this evening. That when we hit the pillow tonight, we sleep deeply and restfully, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaken feeling refreshed and revitalized with a sense of excitement and vim and vigor and a zest for life, that we carry this energy, this healed consciousness, this awakened way of being. We take this through this evening and through the day and through the rest of the week, and on and on. That it is revitalized and restored with each breath. The healing breath. So, knowing that our word has power, knowing that our word is spiritual law, for it is impressing itself upon a law of mind, that is the mind of the divine itself, that aspect of mind that knows only to say yes. Yes, my beloved, yes. And so for the word spoken here this evening, for the word held within the secret chamber of anyone listening now, we take a deep breath, and we release, and in that release, we're releasing all of our cares, concerns, our joys, and our sorrows unto that infinite mind, that infinite heart. The love of the divine itself acting as a law. We release it now. Let it be so. And we acknowledge this together by saying, and so it is. So, I had a nice experience tonight. I hope you did. So, Sunday mornings at 10:30 here on this channel, we have a Sunday service with music from Ken Francis, and our assistant minister, Reverend Nancy Woods, is here to preside and lead the service, and I prepare a message, and so you're welcome to join us. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel where it says subscribe, and hit that little bell, and that'll give you a notification of whenever we have anything going on in a live stream kind of way here at the center. If you're looking for more stuff that we do here, you can find us online at CSLGH, so that's Center for Spiritual Living Granada Hills, cslgh.org. And you'll see there's a lot of things that have been up until now, have been suspended, but we're actually moving them online now through the Zoom platform until we can come together. And so I hope if this is your first time with us that you'll explore that, and I know I join our spiritual community when I say I hope you can join us here in the sanctuary sooner rather than later. Also, if you'd like to continue to support this channel and our Center for Spiritual Living here in Granada Hills, if you hit, there's a donate icon either on the YouTube channel or at our web page, or you can actually donate through our Facebook page also, if you found that. So, many ways to give and to practice generosity by way of the law of circulation. So, anyway, but it's not required. Okay, so come back when you can. I look forward to seeing you again. Until then, peace and blessings. Stay strong, stay safe, and I'll see you Sunday. Peace and blessings. Good night.